Hello again and welcome to another segment of Shamrock Fresh. I'm Chef Carl Lemary and we're going to be featuring some fantastic items today to coincide with our Mother's Day holiday coming up. Today we're actually featuring an Asian inspired dish. We have a nice pork shank here, really underutilized cut of meat, but so delicious. This thing braizes down so tender and it's very flavorful cut of meat. We're looking at about a 14-ounce portion here, about a 4-inch height on that, and this thing will actually render down after cooked to about an 8-ounce edible portion. We're actually going to be serving this today with a nice little teriyaki glaze, and we're going to show you how to throw that thing together. Basically a little Asian barbecue sauce to go on top of this. So we're going to demo that really quick here. Simple with a few little ingredients. First we're going to start out with a little bit of ponzu soy sauce, a little citrus soy sauce here, and just a little bit. Goes a long way. Still very salty, obviously. We've got some ready to go glaze. This is already a thick looking glaze here, so we're going to add that to that. Add a little more sweetness to balance out the teriyaki and the ponzu sauce, where we've got some sweet and sour sauce. You can find that in the gallons all day long here. Okay, and finally we've got some sesame oil. Once again, very pungent oil. A little bit goes a long way. It's very aromatic. So we're just going to add that all together and kind of whisk that together. And ready. So that all combined eventually comes out to look like this here. Got a nice little teriyaki glaze to go over our braised pork shank. So we're going to go ahead and take our nice pork shank here. You want a nice hot pan. I'm using actually a cast aluminum pan to braise in here. You can go ahead and add some olive oil to that. You can use canola, any oil that you have on hand there. And nice hot pan. I want to season this up with a little salt and pepper here, okay? And then a little bit of salt. And both sides, obviously. Alright, and we're going to go ahead and just stick that in that hot pan there. Now, talk a little bit about the braising process. Braising is really a unique way to cook, kind of tougher meats here. What it does basically is a two-part process. You will go ahead and brown this meat up here in a sauteed fashion, searing all the juices and flavor in. And the second portion of this is a liquid that's introduced to it. So you're basically going to add in some flavorful stock or even water about halfway up to let that kind of cook down a little slowly here. Cooking up shank of this size, I'm thinking, on low rolling heat, it's probably going to take you about 2 hours. Obviously you're going to see the little bones protrude out of the shank, and you'll know it's pretty tender there. Obviously the meat kind of start falling off the bone as well. So, got some heat to it. Browning that off pretty well. Also, by sauteing and browning this meat, you're kind of building up a fond, a foundation. All the little parts, cracklings and everything that stick to the bottom really is going to develop a nice little flavorful stock there. Alright, so we're going to assume we went ahead and added our liquid about halfway up. Wanted to cover this up. Obviously you want a pan that's big enough to incorporate all your water that you need for that. And for time purposes, we actually have one that's pre-done already here. And that's more or less what it looks like. Okay, we've applied the glaze already here. And apply a little bit more, let you know kind of the process with a little pastry brush. Alright. And we're simply going to stick that in a, not a 350 degree oven, just to let that glaze cake on there. Okay, the next component of this dish is a couple of specialty produce items that were featured in our last specialty produce video on Shamrock Fresh. One of them extremely unique, we talked a little bit about it, are these beautiful taro chips. I mean, they got this nice real brindle look to them. Very flavorful, simply a little salt and pepper on those things and they're good to go. This is what the taro root looks like. Great little staple vegetable. We're actually using this only for garnish purposes today. We are also featuring our daikon radish sprouts. They grow in that little foam pack and they continue to grow. And we're going to use this also as another garnish here today. Featuring our asparagus as well, that was featured in the video. I like the asparagus tips in this dish since it is a kind of delicate dish. I want the best of that particular little grass there. Got some red onion and red bell pepper to boot here. And finally, we're going to feature a puree of potato, or a whipped potato, or mashed potato, whatever you want to call it there, featuring some utility Yukon potatoes. I think the Yukons are really great for a mashed potato because it's a real creamy, real colorful, kind of a yellowish color to it. It really lends to a nice creamy texture. Now, being Asian, we're going to add a little kick to this thing. We've got some wasabi powder here. Now, wasabi powder is very, very potent. You want to use a little bit. A little bit of this, once again, goes a long way, okay? And basically, we're just going to add a little bit of hot heavy cream, and we've got some chicken stock that we've added to that, so I'm actually going to place this over these hot potatoes. Alrighty. And I actually like to add the wasabi powder right over to the potatoes themselves and incorporate them in that manner. I think it really just lends to that freshness. I think if you put that into a hot liquid, it kind of cooks down some of the heat out of it and some of the elements, and you know, it just basically lends to a better looking and better tasting wasabi mash there. So while we've got that beautiful shank glazing up in the oven there, we're going to take this time to just go over a little quick sauce to go along with this dish, as well as saute our vegetables today. So I'm going to start off with a small little pat of butter in a semi-warm pan. Alrighty. Get that thing down. Got some olive oil to incorporate. Okay. And we're going to add garlics and shallots to this. Really simple here. Basically, this is going to be a cream sauce, and what I like to do is feature a lot of different color and flavor in here. We're going to add some chicken stock to this, some white wine deglaze, and add some sriracha sauce, which is pretty powerful heat-wise. So we'll work through all that. Don't want to brown this at all. A little quick deglaze with some white wine. Okay, let that alcohol cook off. Alright. While that's cooking off, I'm going to add a little touch of chicken stock we have in the squirt bottle. Okay. A little bit of heavy cream. And finally, our sriracha sauce. Once again, a little bit goes a long way. We want to just basically color this sauce, just tint this sauce a little bit. Alright, bring that together. And we're going to let that simmer a little bit there. Alright, next. We want to be sauteing our vegetables. Now, it's definitely a little bit hot here. And once again, I want to incorporate just simply the vegetables here, let them speak for themselves. Real quick saute, you want to think along the lines of a stir fry here. Alright, so we'll go ahead and add our onion. Okay. A little bit of garlic as well here. Gonna just split that down. Always want to season, so a little salt and pepper for both dishes. Okay. A little bit more here. Alright. A little quick saute. And those are right about done there. Alright, gonna pull that nice glazed shank out of the oven here. Want to hit this with a little more glaze, just kind of get that home and sheen it up a little bit, lacquer it almost. Alright, got that. Tongs here, loosen that up, there we go. Now, really simply, a lot of preparation up to this point, but we're going to have it all come together. So we got our nice pureed wasabi potatoes here, Yukons. And we're just going to put a little dollop, start a base here, and slowly build it up. Okay, there we go. Put our nice little pork shank on top, and drizzle our really nice red sauce right around all that. Like I said, the aesthetics of the plate are such an important part of your business and marketing, all the way down to the plate. You know, presentation is everything. You know, you're competing with a lot of people out there, so you want to make sure you come with the best you can here. And this is simply done. Okay, now add a few of these beautifully sauteed vegetables here. Alright, just kind of dress them all around. In a lovely fashion, there we go. Alright, gonna put a couple of taro chips behind it to build up a little bit of that height. Okay. Got a little bit of toasted sesame seed. Got our bunch of daikon radish that goes right on top here. And finally, just a little red onion or green onion to kick that up a little bit. Alright, so that is our Asian-inspired barbecue pork shank with wasabi whipped potatoes, taro root, and a lovely sriracha sauce. Hope you enjoy.